Hello and welcome back to Time is Money, sponsored by Trade Monster, where you can trade options for just 50 cents, stocks for just $7.50, folks. And that's just the beginning of what Trade Monster is. You want educational products, they've got it loaded on that site for free. You're not going to have to pay $1,000 or $2,000 to learn how to trade and use spreads and so forth. You go to TradeMonster.com, the sister company of Option Monster, and again, you can trade options for 50 cents, stocks $7.50. So as we come back from Thanksgiving, what are we going to be stepping into? A lot of data, folks. We've got the ISM coming at us on Monday, right away, December 1st, first day back from the Thanksgiving holiday. Also, construction spending, December 1st, Monday morning, coming at us, hot and heavy. You know how these numbers can move the markets. Well, we anticipate that they'll do that and then some next week, because we've got the granddaddy coming at us on Friday, and that's, of course, the employment report for the month of November. But before I get too far ahead of myself, taking a look at conferences next week, because on Time is Money, what we like to do is help you set up your trading week. So I've told you about ISM and construction spending. Also, Thomas Wiesel Partners has a big conference out in New York. It's Natural Resources Conference. And so if you're trading anything in this space, we've seen a lot in the gold part of the space, gold mining, silver mining. All of those sorts of companies will be presenting out at this conference in New York City. Also, Piper Jaffray Healthcare Conference going on at the Palace Hotel, Tuesday, December 2nd through the 4th. So that's anybody in the healthcare space, and I mean everybody, because Piper, this is their 20th annual confab, so look for a lot of movement out of these stocks beginning Monday, but of course going in on Tuesday. When you start seeing them move, it's going to be reaction to what's going on in that healthcare space and what's being said at these presentations. We've also got the Friedman Billings Ramsey Capital Markets Investor Conference going on in New York City, again, the 2nd through the 4th. Stocks that are going to be presenting there that I'm watching closely, because we've seen unusual action in these names. SLM, which is Student Loan Marketing, SLM. Also, ENSCO International, ESV, also presenting at this conference, and Waste Management, WMI. I'd say all of these should be on your watch list, and they're all, of course, starting Tuesday at that Friedman Billings Ramsey Capital Markets Conference, New York City. We've also got CPI data coming at us Tuesday. So as I said, the week is front-end loaded, folks, with an awful lot of data. And then at the end of the week, of course, November, as far as the big jobs report, because of what's happened recently, we know that we're going to see 3 very ugly jobs reports in a row. October, November, December jobs numbers are just going to be horrific. And then with the $10,000 tax credit that President-elect Obama has promised, kicking in perhaps right on that very first day, inauguration day, bringing to him to sign it, I think you'll see a significant change in the employment picture beginning in January. If you come back with me from the break, I'll have the other stocks we're watching next week, a whole bunch of earnings, and why I'm watching these particular stocks right after this. All right, folks, thanks for sticking through that. Again, brought to you by TradeMonster.com, where you can trade options for just 50 cents, stocks $7.50. And no, there's no upsell from there. That's $7.50, whether you trade 200 shares or whether you trade 2,000 shares at a clip, $7.50 for stock and 50 cents for options at our sister company, TradeMonster.com. Now, as far as earnings, Tuesday, we've got Staples, SPLS. We've picked up very strong, unusual buying of put options in Staples. Staples has just been hammered because they've had exposure to everybody from Bear Stearns to Lehman Brothers, and that hot potato just kept getting passed around. They're, of course, office supply company, and we think the numbers could be pretty stinky. I'll remind you of how well those numbers worked for us last week when we talked about this in John Deere and Tiffany. So pay attention to Staples, take a look there. Full disclosure, we're already in put spreads in this one, and we may trade out of it before Tuesday, depending on what happens Monday. Pushing ahead then to another stock on Tuesday, Solafun, S-O-L-F. Solafun, January 5 calls trading for just $1. That's January 5 calls in Solafun trading for just $1. Dirt cheap, folks. Stock is down on its backside hard, and we're going to have the president-elect pushing towards green energy. I think Solafun, these calls are cheap, trading at $1. Then push ahead to Wednesday. Aeropostale, A-R-O. If you like the high-end clothing for teens and tweens, well, these guys have that in spades, but they've also just been taken apart. They gave some weakened guidance back in October, and the stock fell pretty hard back then, and now shares trading all the way down from wherever, 36 to 14. We like it at these levels because I think, like many of the others, we've seen unusual activity starting to build going into this in the calls. Why is that? Because perhaps they're oversold. You sell a little too many and you get it down here to 14 bucks. Can it break into the 10s? Of course it can. That's why we like putting on a bull call spread. If you look at the graph here, that bull call spread has limited risk and we think great risk reward ratio, and that's one of the reasons we love bull call spreads. Also because volatility is up substantially. Volatility has moved up from 50 just a month and a half ago to over 110 right now heading into earnings. So you're getting big, fat, juicy options in here. You don't want to just be a naked buyer of those options. You want to buy one and sell an option against it so that you can set yourself up to make some money rather than being played like a chump. So that's Aeropostale, A-R-O, earnings on Wednesday next week. Last one I'll tell you about, Big Lots, B-I-G, Big Lots. Starting to see some unusual buying in here. The stock is down very hard, just like Aeropostale, from the mid-30s down into the teens, but it has had a more significant bounce recently than has Aeropostale. Still like it though. And one way that I like to play it is, again, call spread, because volatilities are in the stratosphere. I like buying the 15 calls and selling the 1750 calls. That's a 2.5 point bull call spread. I own the stock at 15. Somebody has the right to take it from me at 17.5. I like that setup in Big Lots. You know what they do, folks. Any excess inventory. The same thing that TJ Maxx does for clothing, these guys do for soft goods, in particular for food and so forth at Big Lots, but also for bath products and the like. If you've been in the stores, you know what I'm talking about. Dirt cheap. Folks, when they're cutting back, go to Big Lots stores, go to Dollar Tree. I like this stock at this $16 level, and that's why I like that bull call spread. 15 calls against the 17 calls. Folks, I'm Dr. J from OptionMonster.com. Throughout the day, Guy Adami, my brother Pete, and myself, we all blog throughout the day about unusual activity that we're seeing, stocks, options, and futures at OptionMonster.com. How do we do it? That horsepower behind me, that kind of computing power that can take the 100,000 quotes a second that are coming at you so fast you can't even see them. Well, we can take that, freeze it in the same microsecond, because we're pulling it with 6 1-gigabyte circuits to the internet. A gigabyte circuit is 600 times bigger than the T1 that many of you are watching us on right now. So when you're talking DSLs and T1s, they're great, they are high speed. It ain't even close, you can't measure it against a gigabyte circuit, folks. 1 gigabyte circuit, 600 times bigger than that T1. That's how we can pull the data so fast and see, were they buying on the offer or were they selling on the bid? We're the only ones that can do that. We have trademarks and patents on the process. Everybody else is a pretender, folks. We're the only ones that can give you the real goods. I'm Dr. J from Option Monster. I hope you join us throughout the week and have a great day.